Welcome back to Switch to Linux. So today we are going to hopefully do our video on Kdenlive video editing. I wanted to do this one yesterday and the kitties kept interrupting really bad. It was a different thing if they just jump up on your lap and like, hey, I'm here. But when they just sit over here right inside the microphone and just start wailing at the top of their lungs, then I gotta stop the video and see what's going on. But anyway, we are back to looking at Kdenlive today, and what I want to do with Kdenlive is just to show you the amount of things that you can do. Like, you know, people have even said over the years they didn't really care for Kdenlive. There were some stability issues for a period of time, but really Kdenlive is an absolutely fabulous open source video editor. And so with that being said, there's really not a whole lot that you need to do that you're not going to be able to work out on Kdenlive. And I started doing my Linux videos on OpenShot when I was just adding the simple intro to the videos. But then I needed to do a few videos where I had to do a little bit more advanced editing stuff, and that's when I put Kdenlive on here and I started working with that. And after doing Kdenlive work, you know, I don't want to go back to anything else. So what we are going to do here today is I'm going to show you the scammer video, and I'm still not, I'm 50-50. A part of me really wants to just go ahead and publish it soon. The other part of me is like, I don't know. I really love the video up until like the 3-minute mark, and then I just feel like it just got old and stale, and so I'm not completely sure what we're going to do. Maybe I'll just cut it off after the 3-minute mark because it just conversation just got boring at that point in time. So maybe I'll do that and just talk a little bit about that particular scam. So I don't know. I'm thinking, but regardless. What we are going to do is I'm going to switch over here and just show you the just the screen here, and of course that is the giant Van Gogh painting that is in oh, what's the name of that city? Goodland? I forget. It's in the middle of Kansas. So you're driving down the Kansas cornfields. All you see is cornfield, 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 and then from the interstate you can see a ginormous Van Gogh painting. And for reference, what you can't see because where's my mouse? Because this video is over top of it. This right here is a Pizza Hut. Oh man, a Dollar General, and there was a water tower there. Oh well, now we're over on the Green River. But anyway, I digress. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to boot up the Kdenlive. Actually, first what we're going to do is I'm just going to create a new Kdenlive video. So in my templates folder, I actually just have a Kdenlive application. You'll see actually what I have here. I have already pre-added my Switch to Linux intro, so it just kind of saves me a step here. So all my settings are configured exactly where I need them to be, and now it's just a matter of adding the other videos. So on Kdenlive, to add a video to edit, is I want to come up under the project bin here, and there's this add a clip, and I believe you can do it under here. Let's see. Okay, so under project, you can add a clip there as well. So the same button over here, there's a little toolbar. So hit add a clip, and then now we can add pretty much anything. So for the scammer video, I'm adding a, so you can add anything from WAV files, OGG files, MP3s. You can do any video clips. I do find that MKV files do seem to trip it up. So anytime I record something in MKV, it doesn't matter how big it is or small it is, it seems to trip the thing up. So I just convert MKVs to MP4s in VLC before I add them in. I can add images to these. So what we're going to do here is, let me just find a, let's see, let's do this clip here, which is an MP4 clip. And so that will add it to your list of clips up here. To add it to your timeline, you just need to simply grab it and drag it down where you want it. So this will layer everything inside of this. So we have audio channels down here at the bottom. You can right click to insert tracks, or you can delete tracks. So in this case, I will not actually be needing, the audio tracks there, at least not two of them. This will allow me to just drop this down and get a little bit larger view window here, which you can also drag over to get the screen view that you want. So you can set these guys up in a lot of different ways. You can also add another video track up here. If you want to do it above or below any certain track, you can do that. So then you can drag these guys wherever you need them in your timeline. If you want to get it aligned to something, you can maybe put this right over there, and you can just come over here and it'll actually snap to the place where your cursor currently is. All right. So other things you can do here under your project, you can add color clips. We'll just add a color mask. Slideshow clips will be slideshows of images. And then we can do title clips, which will allow you to add titles. And then I also use the add clip just to do things like if I want to add a, let me grab one from my documents, from my actual OBS folder. If I can find them, where they are, desktop, not desktop, documents. Okay, so under documents, switch to Linux video. So these guys here are actually my title clips. So this will allow me to drop a title. Now, an image, you can have them as large or as short as you want. You just need to drag them to get the size. Your video clips, you cannot make them larger, but you can crop them down, and it will crop from that edge. So I'm just going to right-click here and delete the selected clip. So in order to get a nice transition, it's actually quite easy. You just want to do a little bit of overlap. Now, the way this works with these tracks is it will always record whatever's on the top will be recorded over whatever's on the bottom. So I'm going to come back here to the beginning. I'm going to hit a preview. Now, when you hit the preview button, you'll see it play. It will be a little bit choppy over here. It will render a whole lot better than you see it, but this just gives you a good preview. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to play it, and you'll see it's going to play about half of my intro, and then the other clip is going to overlay it quite a bit. So there's the intro, and then boom, you can see that it overlays. Now, if you listen, you can hear that the audio is still there. Aww. Kitty just wanted to come up and say hi. Say hi, Kitty. Hold on. Oh, hold on, Kitty. Hold on. There's the kitty. Kitty wanted to come up and say hi. Hello. Hey, everybody. Use Kdenlive. It rocks. All right. So, to make a transition, you want to dissolve them over, but Kdenlive actually has a lot of kind of smart transitions. So with this, if you just hold over here near the junction, and you can see that this little pointer here, click on that, and that will put an automatic dissolve. So now when I come back here and push play, then you'll see it will transition one out and the other in, and so they will smoothly transition. Again, pretty jumpy, but if we actually rendered that video, it would work out well. Now you can do other things with it. So if you want to add a title track, so I added the title track on this video directly through OBS as I'm recording. But if I want to do those in post-production, what I do is I have the images, and they're actually the same exact images. And I edit them. I usually edit them in GIMP. Since I've been using Krita, I'm doing more editing in Krita, but I already have the files completely set up for GIMP, and so I edit them in GIMP. So we'll just go ahead and open GIMP up real quick to show you how I do those titles. So I have this set to not remember document history, but it's come over here into documents and STL video, and the banner XFC is the GIMP file. So what I do here is I just have this, and I just type in whatever my new title happens to be. And what this is a it's the size of the 1920 by 1080 size, and the black dots here, if you're not familiar with transparency, that is the transparency items which you have to have, because if you do not have the transparency layers, then it will overlay whatever color is over there. So if I save this as a JPEG, JPEG does not support transparency, and so it would overwrite the video. But if you save it as a PNG, particularly a 32-bit PNG, it will give you the nice, the nice smooth color, but it will give you all of the transparency elements. So in short, what this document looks like here, let me just go under places and open up my documents, STL video. So that's what these look like. So I actually just keep these three here. I should just get rid of this one. But I keep these three here, and OBS is just called to do this. And then what I do for whatever the title is on the video is I just overwrite the title.png, and then OBS will automatically update that, so I don't have to keep changing that file around. So that's what you do. You just grab the exact same file, and then I just drop that wherever I want it to be. So if I want it to be like, you know, let's say if I want it to be 8 seconds in, I might just go ahead and grab this guy, put it right there about 8 seconds. I don't think that's quite at 8. Yeah, actually, it's not too far off. Anyway, I can just kind of drop that wherever I'd like to be. And then to transition in and out, I'm just going to come over here, click on either end to give me my nice smooth transitions. And so now, as I play it, I'm going to get the smooth transition over here. And then you can see I was doing goofy things with this. So I can fade in and fade out the title clip. Now what you can do is you can also double click on these images and you can set the exact start point. So if I want that exactly at the 8-second start point, there's the 8-second start point, and then the duration is how long do I want it to be. So if I want to say start at 8 seconds and it's 10 seconds long, that's how you do that. Now you might have to readjust. In fact, I just totally messed that up. Might want to readjust your transparencies. They don't go with it. So let's do 800, and then we're going to make this be 10 seconds. Push OK. No idea why that's not going to 10 seconds. I do this all the time. It usually should go right to 10 seconds. There it goes. Now it goes to 10 seconds. So now I can transition. I don't want to transition that much. Oh, you know, it transitioned that because it doesn't have an overlap here. So I'd actually have to overlap something else to get that to go. Why don't I do this? That clip there is a little bit longer. So what we'll do, close that. Get rid of that dissolve. Oh. It's not my day for editing, apparently. Just click the mouse where I want that to be, and then do that. It's still putting it at 8. I'm not sure why it's not adjusting that on the first try, but it's not. But anyway, there you go. There's how we can transition this over. So you'll see it, since 10-second title banner, it starts exactly at second 8. And so you can do that kind of stuff there to make that work. Of course, you can see I was being goofy on this. I'm kind of mocking the scammers a little bit here, so I was being goofy. But what you can do is just kind of overlay things. Of course, there's other things you can do with clips, from increasing the sizes to decreasing the sizes. So what we'll do is I'm going to add another clip here. Go back to the desktop where I have a pile of clips, and let's take my Michael is the guy I'm claiming to be. So I did a nice picture of myself with a horribly styled "Hello, my name is" badge over his name, but that's exactly what I wanted it to look like. It's just cheesy enough. So what I want to do now is, what if I want to fade into this while the picture grows? So what we're going to do is I can right click. Now you can do this right click add effect, and that's my generally preferred way. You can also just come over here to this tabs, and then you can find the effect over here. It's like I know exactly where everything is on my right click menu, but I don't know where they all are right here. So transform is the one that allows us to go. This has multiple different things set across keyframes. So we have what is the position, what is the size, here's your size, percentage, your opacity, and do you have any rotation to this? All right, so what we can do here is, if I want to start out, we're going to go to the very beginning of the second clip, and then what I can do is I'm going to say that my size is 1%. Okay. And then what I'll do is I will do somewhere around the middle of the clip. So there's about the middle of the clip. I'm going to click on this button over here to add a keyframe. And then with your keyframe, you can now make an adjustment. So what we'll do here is I'm going to say at this point in time, I have 100%. Now, what this line is here is this is telling you the transition. So it's starting at 0.00 at 1% size at keyframe 1, and then it is going to grow until the center point is over here. And so what we're going to see as we run this, back up. What we're going to see as we run this is we're going to see that it's going to overwrite in that fashion. So the other thing I might want to do is I might want to do some type of transition. So maybe I'll start my opacity at 25%. So this is how transparent it is. And maybe we'll set our rotation back at, I don't know, let's just find something. There you go, let's do minus 90. Can I just back that up a little bit? Nope. Do minus 90. There we go. Okay, so now at keyframe 1, it's going to be minus 90 rotation. It's going to be at 25% opacity, and it's going to be 1% of its size. So I click the next button here to go to the keyframe. So here is at 100% and rotation 0. So now what it's going to do is it's going to rotate in. Now every now and again, Kdenlive will crash like that. I encounter that maybe 1% of the time. Usually just open the file right back up and you haven't lost anything. But it looks like in this case I did. That is not, usually if I'm adding a bunch of stuff, it usually saves it. It probably didn't because I hadn't done any saves on that at all. So that is an example of one of the things that can happen on Kdenlive, an example of why you want to save your document regularly. But again, that level of instability, I see it only occasionally when I'm doing things with a lot of advanced rotations and things. I'm not completely sure if I'm going to call that a total criticism, although maybe they do need to work on that stability a little bit. That's kind of curious, though, that usually it will completely and perfectly save it. I think it didn't because I haven't done any saves on there at all. Anyway, let me show you a real file where I have all of those same exact elements going on. So you can be the judge if you think it's stable or not stable. You can see here I've done a whole lot with this. And I'm doing everything from fade-in effects. I have some text overlays. And let me get to this part. Let's see, where am I at? So this part here, I have some transitions. And in this part, what my transition does is it starts from the very middle. So you'll see here that my middle, X and Y, is right at the very middle of the screen. And then what it's going to do is it's going to transition in. So if I click on this, you'll actually see where the keyframe is, the squares in the middle, and then as it moves out, it will go ahead and go all the way full size. Only I also added a little bit of opacity to it. So let's see what that one looks like. Okay, so now it's zooming in with opacity going up, and then it opaces out again. And I did those types of effects just to have me doing a very quick response as Michael Johnson as I'm doing the individual edit. Other things that I did here, let's see what other transitions I have. Okay, this one here I think is the same exact transition. So here you can see I'm also doing a transition. Again, just being a little goofy. And then okay, go ahead and stop. Stop. Thank you. See if I did any other specific transitions. I did a couple sideways transitions, I think over, let's see, where were they? Okay, so here's where I have a couple of I think this one was exclusively an opacity transition. Let me see. Yeah, what I wanted to do on this effect is I needed it to fade in and out in an exact location that I could not get with the basic dissolve effect. So all these yellow marks here are the dissolve effects, which I usually just let those go automatic. In this case, I needed it to dissolve in an exact time in an exact way without having any other type of overlap. And so I used the transform function again, setting the part that I needed to be solid as the 0 keyframe as solid, and then this keyframe starts the mark of when I start to decrease. And then as I hit the third keyframe, you'll see that the opacity is now 0, while this frame here starts, let's see, what's this one start at? So this one here starts at 100 and then goes, what does that one do? Oh, what that one did is that went with that slid in and out. So what we get on that section there as we play it, so we have this guy over here and then that fades in, and so that's what that one was doing, is the one part there was fading in, sliding over, overlaying something else. So that's kind of how I achieved that type of response. Let's see. That's pretty much all of the effects. Another effect you can do, I used at the very beginning here, is I used the waveform effect. So this will actually give us the ability to have some waves and some amplitudes. So if you watch this one here, it'll actually just kind of wave around a little bit. Just gives you a little bit of effect. So those are some of the things you can do. Another video that I've been working on is the home cooking hacks. And that one there, I've been experimenting. Where is it? Okay, documents, there we go. What I've been doing on that one is I've been looking at video intro stuff. So one of the video intros that I did, the first video intro actually looks like this one. And this is a 15-second time lapse of making pancakes and then fading into the logo. So I wanted to use this, but the problem is we accidentally filmed it in 720p and I wanted it in 1080p. So we redid the take several times and could not get something that I felt was good enough to use. And so what I end up doing is something a little bit different, which looks more like this one. No, not that one. That's the same one we just had. I used that, cropped and cut, and did some rotation to form this. So we're going to use that in conjunction with some more effects through Blender. And my concept in Blender is actually to have some overlaying text coming in while that type of video is going. And so we end up with an effect sort of like this. And this is just proof of concept, not anything real. We're not going to do something this cheesy. But that was just kind of proof of concept. Can we get the overlaying keyframed effects in Blender over the camera view to overlay a video that we do? So we'll do the video in Kdenlive exactly as I want, and then I'm going to do some animated logo stuff on top of it on Blender. And so that's kind of the proof of concept. So let's walk through how I did those couple videos there. First, let's look at the time lapse. So to do the time lapse video, I think this one's it here. Let's see. Let's see. What I need to do is, actually, let's do a search recursively, and we're going to go, okay. There's something with Kdenlive's ability to grab the files. What I need to do is I just need to make sure that a copy of this file is on the desktop, or it might be this file's on the desktop. I can update that file. I just, not off the top of my head, I don't remember exactly what I need to do. So I just had to get that file on the desktop. You can update that link as well. So what you do here is I took the individual clips and I used the speed function. So if you right click, add effect, motion, and speed, you can actually speed up or slow down a clip. So you can, I'm not sure exactly what the limit of slowing down is, but the maximum limit is you can increase the speed of a clip by 2000%. Okay, and so what I did is I cut and cropped the various stages of making the pancake, and then what I did is I added various levels of speed. So this one here, as it's cooking, I wanted 2000%, as I'm just doing ingredient mixing, I'm using a little bit less from, 1500 for adding the ingredients to 1000 to melting the butter. And then what we finally did is on this part of the video here is I've come over here and I fade into the video. And so what I did is I actually took the last frame, which was here. I took the frame of this and then I overlaid a ping file of my logo in GIMP. And then what I did with that is that will allow me to make some very slight tweaks to the logo to get it to line up properly with your pan. And then I just added that in. So you'll see that it actually aligns with the pan very nicely. And so we went ahead and added that function in. So that was to make the intro. Now that's the one that I liked, except it was 720p. So what we're doing then is into intro 3, I took that clip, the intro 6, which was that clip that I liked, only I cut out all of the making part and I wanted to have it exclusively the part to where I am actually making the pancake. And what I did then is I added a few different effects. So let me hide the effects first so you can see what they are. So here you can see that it's the same exact video we had. And then at the end of the video, it's doing the same fade. And it's fading into the logo. And then what I did is I took that same copy of the logo and I'm doing a very brief fade over. And the reason I need to do that fade over is to get this working right is I had to rotate the clip and have it land with the last bit of rotation with the pan facing forward. But to get the effect to work right, I actually had to have the extra image on top of it so it transitions directly into that and the viewer doesn't even know it's happened. So to cause the effects, the rotation effect here, this guy here, what we're doing is I'm just rotating, X, Y, Z are 0, but I'm rotating the animate X, animate Y, animate Z at 20. And then what ends up happening is it's going to rotate over the course of the time. And I should actually, with that on the timeline, I should actually be able to just click this guy here. I'm just clicking the over key and it will go kind of frame by frame. So see what it's doing here is it's going to rotate. And as it rotates, it's going to rotate each of those axes. And then it's going to finally rotate back. And it will end on the last frame with the logo in place, and then we just transition right on over into the actual solid image for the length of time that I wanted. Okay, so the other effect that I'm doing is I'm doing a size transform. So the size transform, and let's see what my settings look like there. I don't remember. Okay, so we're starting in the center at 1%, and we're making it grow to the full size. And so here you'll see what we're doing is we're just causing it merely to grow in size. And so with both of the effects turned on, so that's the transform, here is the rotate and shear, with both of these turned on, the ending effect is going to be the logo is going to grow while it is rotating and spinning, and then it's going to end with the logo right in place. But the transition between the pan and the logo happens when it's in a vertical plane, and so you don't really notice the shift. And so that's kind of what's going on with that. So that is kind of how I did some of these effects here in Kdenlive. This is just a kind of a very brief understanding what it can do, and just looking at all of the other options. There are tons of effects. Alpha, audio, so if you need to mute something, it's under your audio corrections. You can mute, gain, normalize, etc. Blur and hide is if you need to blur something on there. There's the auto mask, or you can just do simple blurs, which will allow you to just grab certain portions of the thing to blur out. And then there's a series of other miscellaneous things. I have no idea what all these things do, but there's just tons of different things that you could spend a whole long time figuring out all of the aspects of Kdenlive. So this is certainly a more advanced editor. It's a very good editor in that respect. We did see that one system crash. I generally don't have any issues, and I've actually never really encountered an issue on a production file that I have not been able to recover. A lot of that is because I come from that old school where we actually did run backups on a regular basis. So, with that being said, that is, in a very brief nutshell, our intro video there on Kdenlive. And I'm thinking I might put up that scammer video. I might not. I don't know. I might just put it up on Patreon or something. I'm not sure. I really like the first half of it. I don't like the second half of it. I might just cut out the second half of it and talk about what they're trying to do. I don't know. Maybe that sounds fun. But anyway, we'll see what happens. But anyway, regardless, it allowed me to build quite an advanced Kdenlive file here, so I could show you all the various aspects of that. And I hope that was helpful, and I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux.